Hi, I'm Laura. The way I fall into our family is I am Denise's eldest daughter. So I'm the biggest sister, both chronologically and physically. And I am also the mother of 6 little handmaidens, Mommy Jones. Today I want to discuss a skill that I learned, unfortunately, later in life than I should have. And because I didn't know how to do this skill, I froze my butt off and let some people down, people who I said, yeah, I'll house sit for you, or sure, you can go out to dinner, everything's going to be fine. And I let wood stoves go out for years because I didn't know what I was doing. It seemed simple. It seemed like fire is one of those destructive forces that spontaneously bursts forth and ruins people's entire lives until you want to make one. And then when you want to make one, they are the hardest thing in the world to get going. So I didn't really know what I was doing until I was I think I was 25 when we bought our first wood stove, because as budding environmentalists, we were trying to become less dependent on fuel oil, and we used our first wood stove just to supplement heating our house with oil. So it really wasn't a big deal because every time I let it go out, the furnace kicked on and we were warm. Oh boy, Brownie's enjoying our cat. He's enjoying our fire building materials. I let our fire go out constantly. And then one day, Ariel, my husband, and I said, you know what? We're done. We're not buying oil anymore. This is our last tank. We canceled our contract and we went straight to wood. And heating a house with wood is interesting because in my experience, you end up with one room that's 90 degrees and maybe 4 rooms that are 50 degrees and a couple of just comfortable rooms in between. Nowadays, we heat our house primarily with a geothermal heating system. We have radiant pipes underneath our floorboards, but that heat pump that runs that, it runs off of electricity. So we brought our little wood stove with us when we moved to this house. At our last house, we ran 2 wood stoves. We had one giant wood stove, and then we had this guy trying to keep us warm. We went probably 10 years with just wood heat. We had no other source of heat. One day, I remember Ariel, I want to say Aston or Dorothy were babies. Those are our 3rd and 4th. And Ariel just remarked how pleased he was that our wood stove just burned through the night. You know, how miraculous that he could just stuff this thing and shut down all the dampers, and poof, in the morning it was still going. And I wanted to choke slam him because for years I'd been getting up at 2 in the morning and putting wood into the stove so that we could be warm in the morning. And he's a classically sound sleeper, so he didn't know I was doing it. Fine, whatever. Now, the reason it took so long for me to learn how to do it is simply not wanting to go through all of the steps. I just wanted to, poof, have this fire work on its own. And building a fire in a wood stove is a lot like, I've heard, the Boy Scouts burn fires out in the woods. I was never a Boy Scout. I can't be a Boy Scout. And when I was a Girl Scout, my mom and grandmother were my troop leaders, and I remember learning a lot of things, and none of them were how to build a fire. I learned how to make popcorn balls, which I love to this day. That amazing, salty, sweet medley is my favorite. I remember when we made them, we had this red cellophane paper that we wrapped them in, and I'm just a sucker for like transparent colored plastic, glass, whatever. I love that stuff. My mom looks back and remembers that day that she and my grandmother taught my brownie troop to make popcorn balls as the day that she gave 10 little girls second-degree burns, because apparently there was a lot of that going on too, but I blocked that part out. I don't remember burning my hands on the popcorn balls. I'm a bit of a food addict, so I remember just loving the popcorn balls. They're delicious. They're delicious. Another great Girl Scout memory that I have is the time that my mother and grandmother thought that going camping at the designated Girl Scout campgrounds was ridiculous. And so we set up a bunch of tents in my own backyard, and we had my uncle come. My uncle was left disabled after that situation over in Vietnam. And so my mom was always trying to come up with ways to sort of make him feel included. And one of his interests was astronomy. So he brought his big telescopes over to the house, and he gave a lesson to all of us girls on, looking at the stars. And it was something that stuck with me. It was great. And it was something that stuck with him because when I was an adult, he would come over to my house and he'd say to me, "Hey, Laura, remember the time that we were Girl Scouts?" And he's not with us anymore, so it's sweet to have that memory. But he never started a fire. He never taught me how to start a fire. My mother didn't teach me how to start a fire. My father left me with directions to keep fires going and never taught me how. And so Ariel and I kind of figured out that you want to build a fire like the Boy Scouts do. You want to make a teepee. And we also make layers in our wood stove. Right here, you can see our first layer is paper that has been crumpled up. We have access to a lot of useless paper because we have a lot of children who doodle a lot, and we can't save every doodle. We'd have no space. So we burn them. School papers, when the kids went to school in person, those were great for starting a fire with too. We don't get a newspaper. Does anyone get a newspaper anymore? I don't know. One important step that I always like to skip, and Ariel says it's because I'm lazy, is to make sure that the ash pan in the bottom of the wood stove is empty, because you need the airflow underneath your stove to get the fire started. And it's okay, kids. Hi. And another step that I often forget is to open the dampers on the sides. Oh, see, we made some dust. It's dusty. Burning a wood stove is not clean. It's charming, it's cozy, it's not clean, it's a mess. So I gotta open the dampers. Otherwise, the house is gonna be filled with smoke. Okay, so we've got our stove all open. So layer one is paper. Layer two is cardboard. We have a lot of cardboard because I am a hermit and I do not like to go out. Get your motorcycle out here. I don't like to go out, so, I order things in. And that, oh, excuse me, babe. That makes a lot of cardboard. The last level is wood, that's right. See, the 4-year-old knows how to make a fire.
Of course it's wood, paper, cardboard.
So we try to make a little pyramid-y sort of thing with our cardboard. Then, our next level is sticks. Sticks, of course, dry sticks are better than green sticks. Dry wood is better than green wood, and sometimes it's difficult to get wood delivery.
Why is it bad just because it's a different color?
What? Oh no, the green on the inside. The green on the inside means the sticks are probably still alive and they're wet. And so it's harder to get them to set on fire when they're wet. One of the most important things about starting a fire is that everything is dry in there. One time, Mom was trying to start a fire at her house, and she said, "Oh my gosh, all I've got for kindling is a wet diaper." I know, ew. But it's true. Sometimes you run out. Now, Grandpa Rubio, he used to collect a lot of sticks all year round, and he'd just have buckets and buckets and buckets of sticks around the house so that he could keep his wood stove going. And that's important because you don't want to run out of kindling. Oh, don't hit me with a stick, please. Okay, so we've got some sticks in here. I'm losing my teepee shape. I'm not perfect. Another thing to remember if you're heating with wood exclusively, like I did for so many years, is some days it's 50 degrees out. And 50 degrees out makes it, kind of like 50 degrees in, which is too cold. It's too cold. It's too cold for even to put on a sweater and deal with it. I hate 50-degree houses. So the problem with trying to start a fire on a day like that is you don't have a good pull from outside, and it's really difficult. So it's awfully important in like April in New York to just keep it going. You don't want to let it go out because it's hard to start them from scratch. But today we don't have a problem because it's like 2 degrees out. I could start this thing, no problem. I also don't have a problem because my wood that I have right now is the same wood that I brought to this house when I moved here. My wood is 7 years old. In fact, the bottom level of my wood is turning into dirt. So my wood is well seasoned. My brother Steven can tell you about the importance of seasoning wood. He can also tell you how to season wood. He's really smart about that. He knows things like which woods take different amounts of time to season and how long they take. I don't know about that stuff. I know a lot about making tea on the wood stove, but other than that,
Do you like coffee?
not so much.
Not so much.
Do you guys want coffee?
I want the McDonald's.
Oh, right, you want to make a McDonald's coffee. We have McDonald's coffee at the house. We're going to brew some of that later. Okay, so the boys are working on getting sticks in the stove. My mom does a really cool thing that she makes these little, I know I give her my egg carton sometimes because she makes these little fire starters, and I don't know anything about that. I've never done that myself. Look at how dirty my hands are because, like I said, wood stoves are not clean. I don't know anything about making a fire starter, but it's probably...
And your shirt is also dirty.
My shirt's dirty too. Thank you, Iz. It probably makes what I'm doing over here obsolete, but I hope to always have geothermal heat, and I hope to never have to go back to running a wood stove. I'm hoping it's always just kind of a luxury for me, like a cozy little luxury at this point. All right, boys, I think we got enough sticks in there.
Yeah.
Let's try to get at least one log on top of this. Do you think you can pick up the littlest log? Oh, that one's got snow on it. Talk about not dry. Here, we're just gonna put it snow side up. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. This thing is gonna light. It's gonna be great. I hope it's gonna light. I don't know. It can be kind of hit and miss. It can, but this should be. Okay, hands off. We only need one. I can only fit one.
Okay.
All right, so now we're gonna light our paper at the bottom. We got a match here.
Can I do something?
Can you do what?
A match.
No, you are not doing a match. Okay, Basil, come away from the fire, Buzz. I don't want you in the fire. Okay, so if you can see, over here, let's tip down. Oh, look, look. look. We got some fire. Obviously, we just lit paper. Oh, cardboard. Did our cardboard fall out? Here. All right. We'll put a piece of cardboard over here. It's okay at this point. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? The kids love a nice fire. It is cozy. There is very little cozier than a fire. Oh, look. Where's Brownie Boy? Oh, he's gone. He's gone. Yeah, the fire's roaring.
Yeah, it's warm.
It's nice. Oops, I made a no-no. I left this open. That's a great way to cheat and make your fire quicker. If you have a lot of airflow underneath by leaving your bottom door open. The problem is I've also, by employing that skill a few too many times, that little trick, I have managed to warp the metal in a wood stove before. It looks like it's melting, doesn't it? I have managed to destroy a wood stove by warping the metal, by letting them get too hot. Okay. So here we go. I can see already, I don't know if you can see it, but our log is already catching fire. Our sticks are caught. If our sticks are caught, we are good.
Mom.
Our log, the snow is melting on top. Wonderful.
Yeah, wonderful.
That is wonderful.
But there still is some snow.
And so there you have it. If you find yourself interested in the environment, now a lot of people will argue that wood is not environmentally friendly. You know, if you can replant it in a sustainable way and use less than you're burning. Okay, Basil, buddy, you gotta stop. Don't touch anymore. You can start a fire. If you find yourself in a temporary poverty and can't afford oil anymore, or if we as a nation switch away from oil, you can still be warm. You can live in New York and be okay. If you find yourself in a week-long power outage like we did one time because of an ice storm, you're fine. You're warm, and you can fry eggs and tea and make soup and all sorts of wonderful things on your wood stove. I don't think I would ever live without a wood stove as at least a backup for an emergency. I mean, if you live in the Northeast, you're gonna lose power. And you just want to be ready. Why would you sit there and say, oh no, I've got no power, I'm freezing, my pipes are freezing in my house. Basil, you've got to stop touching the fire. That is a problem. Now my brother's wood stove, in his house, he has a fence around his. I've never put a fence around mine. I've never had a kid burn themselves, but you know, better safe than sorry. Today might be our day if Basil can't follow the rules. Basil Jones, knock it off. That's it. That's all I've got for you. Be warm on our 1 degree day.